Lord Windgrace versus Feldon of the Third Path. Definitely keeping that, only because we have Mirri's Guile and a means of casting Mirri's Guile. And what do we get into? Yep, there's the Primeval Titan. So we can get a zombie army going with that, most likely. We'll just go for the Mirri's Guile, and then likely going in for a tapped Smouldering Marsh next turn. We can look at the top 3 cards of our library and reorganise them at the beginning of our turn. Sakura Tribelder isn't bad. Yeah, let's draw into Sakura Tribelder this turn. Now, we'll play Sakura Tribelder this turn, and then we can get down a tap land next turn if we want to. I'm not going to crack Sakura Tribelder because I like the Overgrown Tomb on top. Feldon of the Third Path coming down, and they do have Wormcoil Engine in the graveyard, so it might actually be worth... Oh, there's Crucible of Worlds as well. We don't have a fetch, unfortunately. But yeah, I think Maelstrom Pulse is worth going for here, so let's shock down the Overgrown Tomb. And we will go for Maelstrom Pulse onto our opponent's commander. And again, not going to crack the Sakura Tribelder because I like that Crucible of Worlds being on top. Especially if we get into a fetch, which there's every chance we could do once we've shuffled our library up. An Unstable Obelisk and a Goblin Welder. Ooh, Goblin Welder means that we might have to go for the Assassin's Trophy instead, but then that means that they get into Feldon. As long as we keep making our land drops, we shouldn't struggle too much. Let's go for Assassin's Trophy. Play the tapped Smouldering Marsh and get that out of the way. And the problem is, they can definitely recast Feldon next turn if we go for Assassin's Trophy. So I think instead what we'll do is go for the Reclamation Sage onto the Unstable Obelisk. And it may well be that they have another artifact in hand that they can play and then sacrifice to the Goblin Welder to get the Wormcoil out. But it might also be that they do not, and that takes them down a mana as well. Offer up the trade, but I highly doubt they take it. And there's another artifact. It's a good one for them to sacrifice, though. Alright, a Glacial Chasm isn't awful. Let's go Glacial Chasm, Crucible of Worlds, and Forest. And I think we have to crack the Sakura Tribelder to shuffle that stuff and go for Prime Time next turn. Let's go for our Lord Windgrace here. And we will discard Crater Hoof because we're not doing anything. Get into that Crucible of Worlds and then we'll shuffle the Glacial Chasm away. We will probably be blocking with the Sakura Tribelder onto a Wormcoil Engine, assuming they activate that this turn, and they definitely do. At least this way they will not gain any life because they won't get the chance to deal damage to Sakura Tribelder. Okay, and then sacrificing it in response means that we don't have to crack it if we don't want to, but I do want to make sure that we have enough mana to get into our Primeval Titan next turn. So we will sacrifice it. Just grab ourselves a black source. And then out comes Feldon again. Yeah, board wipe would be really nice at this point. No such luck. There is a Field of the Dead though. I think Field of the Dead is our best bet. Let's go for Field of the Dead. And then I think we will discard the Crucible of Worlds as much as it pains me. We'll get into that Evolving Wilds, and then I really want to get rid of the Goblin Welder. But we can get a bunch of tokens into play here to protect our Lord Windgrace and try and get the limit break off. I think that's our best bet at this point in the game. Our opponent's gotten off to a really good start. So let's go in for Gaia's Cradle. And Vesuva. Vesuva can come in as a copy of Field of the Dead. And we'll get a bunch of triggers there because we have 2 Field of the Deads in play now. So that means that we should be able to protect our Lord Windgrace quite nicely. But our opponent is going to be able to get multiple Wormcoil Engines going at this point. Just going straight through to our turn. Time of Need. That's going to be handy. Yeah, let's go Time of Need here. We will discard the Evolving Wilds to draw a couple of cards off of Lord Windgrace. And the limit break on that is how much? 11, so we can do that next turn if we want to. We draw into the Tech Edge, which we obviously knew about. Let's go Time of Need first of all. We can search for a legendary creature card. And I think we'll go for Omnath. Omnath will get us elemental tokens on landfall, and when elementals die we'll get to throw lightning bolts around. Go for the Tech Edge for a bunch of tokens. And Feldon creating a copy of something. Oh, what's that? I missed this. When it enters the battlefield it deals 5 damage divided as you choose amongst any number of targets. Yes, I did miss that. Let's go for finally getting the Assassin's Trophy onto the Goblin Welder. And Goblin Welder is going to sacrifice the Lifelink Worm to get the Worm Coil Engine into play. And Feldon of the Third Path is going to bring the Dragon into play and divide up 5 damage, all going onto the Omnath. And then, because Omnath dies, we'll get to Lightning Bolt Feldon. Good to get Feldon out of play because we do not want to see another Bogarden Hellkite coming down. And then we can go for Oracle of Muldiah if we want, or we can keep our opponent off of mana. I think I'd rather go for that. And then let's swing in with the Primeval Titan. And yeah, we'll just go in with everything here. Start dealing a bunch of damage to our opponent. See if they want to trade the Death Touch Worm for our prime time. Going for Bojuka Bog and Maze of Ith here. And we'll get a bunch more Field of the Dead triggers going. Obviously going to point the Bojuka Bog at our opponent. Be nice if Worm Coil Engine was in the graveyard in response to that, but if Bojuka Bog's in play we can sacrifice it to various means in the deck and then get it back out of the graveyard if we want to. And trading the Worm Coil Engine with the Primeval Titan. Yeah, so deciding to keep the Death Touch token as opposed to the Worm Coil Engine. Probably just to get more tokens in play. They now have a Death Touch and a Lifelinker, and they only went down to 26 there, thanks to the life game. A Word of Seizing. Untap a target permanent and gain control of it until the end of the turn. It gains haste. And they gain control of our Lord Windgrace and got the limit break off on it, blowing up some of our stuff. So they get the Forest Walking Cats going. Yeah, that's really good by our opponent. We're up against a very good Feldon deck here. Let's go Oracle of Muldiah. We do have forests in play, so we're going to take 12 damage next turn that we can do nothing about. Let's get this tiger into play. And it's just a case of going for Lord Windgrace here, I think. Going for the Glacial Chasm being discarded. And there's a Scape Shift. Can we win with Scape Shift? We have 1, 2, 3 mountains in play currently. Yeah, we can go for Eternal Witness onto Craterhoof maybe. Yeah, we can maybe do that next turn. So let's just go for Scape Shift now, I think. No. Let's leave Scape Shift. We might be able to peck our opponent to death with that next turn if we don't get quite enough damage through. Our opponent really needs to wipe the board because we are broadcasting what exactly it is that we're doing here. Grabbing the Craterhoof Behemoth with Eternal Witness. And they're not going to swing in because we want as many tokens in play as possible. If we lose Lord Windgrace or take a big hit from the Cat Warriors, then so be it. A Volcanic Offering. Destroy a target non-basic land you don't control, and a target non-basic land of an opponent's choice. So we'll just aim that at the Gaia's Cradle, because that's where our opponent has pointed it. And then they've pointed at the Oracle of Muldiah, so we will choose the same. Yeah, really good card in 1 versus 1, Volcanic Offering. And getting rid of the Gaia's Cradle was really good there as well, because I don't know if we can scape shift now as well, but Crater Hoof should be enough. Everything is coming in at us. So that is 12, 15, yeah, I think that's 21. 12, 13, 14, 15, 21, yeah. And I don't think with 2 mana they can do anything else there, so we will not block. And we'll just save our opponent a little bit of life gain. A Realms Uncharted. We can search for some lands there, but we can only play 1. Yeah, I think we just have to go for Crater Hoof here. It should be more than enough damage, I would think. Our zombies jump all the way up to 12-12 tramples. Okay, now they're managing to end the turn. This is a hell of a Feldon deck that my opponent's built here. So if they don't win now, then they don't win. But it just so happens that they do have the win, so all they have to do is turn everything sideways here. Yeah, they don't need to get rid of Maze of Ith, but have decided to anyway. Fortunately for them, Realms Uncharted does not bring lands into play untapped. It doesn't bring lands into play at all. If that was a Harrow, this would be a much different scenario that we were in. Although, no it wouldn't, because the cats have Forest Walk, don't they, and we have plenty of forests in play, so straight through. Thought we might have squeaked out a victory there, but our opponent managed to get into whatever that card was, I forget the name of, get into the Glorious End and end the turn, and then win the very next turn, which is exactly what you want to do with Glorious End. So a really good game by our opponent and a very good deck. Very good Feldon deck that they're running there, so big props to them. Hope you all enjoyed watching it. It was fun to play. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thanks for watching.